Welcome to the explainer. So close your eyes for just a second and picture this. You're in the peaceful forests of Vrindavan, and it's glowing beneath this absolutely perfect golden afternoon sun. Peacocks are dancing around, there's a gentle breeze coming off the Yamuna River carrying the sweet sound of a flute, and a group of young friends is just laughing and playing. Sounds like absolute paradise, right? But what if I told you that right there, right in the middle of that perfectly innocent scene, a really dark, dangerous secret is hiding in plain sight?
Seriously, what actually happens when a dangerous demon disguises himself as a friend in a peaceful forest? Well, this isn't just some fantasy story. Today, we're decoding the classic myth of Pralambasura Vadha from the Bhagavata Purana. It's this incredibly cinematic, ancient tale, and it is absolutely packed with these deep psychological lessons about ego, deception, and ultimately inner strength.
Okay, let's dive right in. The story opens with just pure joy. Young Krishna, his mighty brother Balarama, and all the cowherd boys are dividing themselves up into teams for races and wrestling matches under these beautiful flowering trees. And Krishna, with this totally mischievous smile, proposes a playful rule for their game. He says, the losing team must carry the winners on their shoulders. And of course, everyone cheers. It paints his vivid, beautiful picture of innocence, laughter, and real brotherhood. Now, this actually sets up our very first major takeaway about true devotion. Because, spiritual life isn't supposed to be this dry, boring thing, or a state of constant fear. Not at all. It fully embraces joy, friendship, innocence, playfulness, loving relationships. The divine actually enters into these very ordinary, joyful moments of everyday life. But the tone of our story is about to shift pretty dramatically. Enter Pralambasura. Long before coming to this peaceful forest, this demon lived a life that was completely consumed by pure ambition and deceit. He just wanted power, with absolutely zero purity. And life after life, this deception just kind of hardened his consciousness. Finally, he takes orders from the sinister king Kamsa, and his chilling directive is incredibly simple. Enter among Krishna's friends, win their trust, destroy them from within. Now, what's really interesting about this disguise is that, to carry out his dark mission, Pralambasura doesn't stomp into the forest roaring and breathing fire like a typical monster. No, he transforms himself into a smiling, completely harmless-looking young cowherd boy. Externally, he's warm, he's friendly, he's innocent, but his internal reality is completely toxic. He's entirely consumed by ambition and deceit. And the cowherd boys, they welcome him warmly, completely unaware of the danger. Now, you might be wondering, wait a minute, doesn't Krishna know? And the answer is yes, absolutely. Krishna immediately recognizes the demon, but he doesn't just strike him down right there on the spot. Instead, he allows what is known as a Leela to unfold. A Leela is basically a divine play where wisdom is taught through actual experience. Krishna lets the whole deception play out because there's a super crucial lesson that the boys, and well, us as the audience, need to learn. And honestly, this brings us to a lesson that hits incredibly close to home. Just think about your own life for a second. Not everyone or everything that appears friendly actually carries pure intentions, right? Negative influences rarely show up looking like actual monsters. Instead, they sneak into our lives wrapped up in these beautiful, tempting little packages. It could be a new friendship, a golden opportunity, flattering praise, someone's charisma, or even false spirituality. We really need both compassion and some sharp discrimination to spot them. So let's get back to the game. Watch how rapidly the tension escalates here. The games kick off, and pretty soon, Krishna's side wins the competition. And according to the rules, the losers have to carry the winners. So Pralambasura, playing the role of the loser, hoists the mighty Balarama up onto his shoulders. At first, he's just walking slowly. But then suddenly he breaks away from the group and starts sprinting deep into the forest at this terrifying, totally unnatural speed. As he runs deeper and deeper into the shadows of the forest, he literally can no longer hold the illusion. The charming disguise completely fades away, and his body starts growing, just massive and dark. The false mask literally falls away, revealing his absolute, terrifying, true demonic form right there beneath the forest canopy. His eyes are just burning with hatred. So here is the absolutely crucial point we need to take away. Falsehood can only maintain its disguise temporarily. Eventually, the hidden nature of ego and deception is going to reveal itself. The spiritual seeker, which is really anyone just trying to live a good, honest life, has got to remain alert. We literally cannot afford to be blinded by appearances, controlled by flattery, or deceived by external beauty. Because the truth, it will always, eventually, uncover the illusion. Now, just picture Balarama for a second, sitting on the shoulders of this towering, speeding monster. I mean, most of us would be completely paralyzed by panic, right? But Balarama is different. He represents this immense spiritual strength and divine grounding. So instead of giving in to the fear, Balarama remembers his true divine nature. His body begins to shine with this immense spiritual power, and suddenly, it's the demon who's the one trembling in fear. Pralambasura roars violently, desperately trying to regain control of the situation. But Balarama just raises his mighty fist, and with one thunder-like blow, he strikes the giant demon right on the head. And the impact is so epic that the earth itself actually trembles. The gigantic form of Pralambasura crashes lifelessly to the ground, shaking the entire forest, while the heavens literally shower flowers in praise of Balarama's incredible victory. And this brilliantly illustrates the deeper meaning of the battle. You see, it isn't just a physical fight, it's deeply symbolic. Pralambasura represents our hidden ego, false friendships, manipulation, and spiritual hypocrisy. Balarama's strike teaches us that these inner demons simply can't not survive when they're met with genuine spiritual power and absolute, unshakable honesty. But what happens next is this profoundly beautiful moment of grace. The earth has finally stopped shaking, and a brilliant light rises from the fallen demon's body. Because, through his contact with the divine, the soul of Pralambasura actually becomes completely purified. Krishna and Balarama just stand there peacefully beneath the trees, radiating total compassion. Let's actually break down the mechanics of divine justice here because it operates in 3 distinct steps. It's never just about, punishing the bad guy. First, the evil behavior itself must be destroyed. But second, there is deep compassion shown to the fallen. And third, the ultimate goal is liberating the trapped soul from ignorance. It really teaches us that true transformation is always possible and no soul is eternally condemned. And let's see how this builds into just an incredible realization. Even enemies receive grace from God. I mean, think about that. Inside this violent, earth-shaking, mythological battle hides a really profound message of ultimate compassion. Divine love is so powerful that it can purify even those who have fallen into the absolute darkest states of deception. So, following the defeat of the demon, the cowherd boys all gather around in utter amazement. The laughter quickly returns to the forest, and the flutes start to play once again. And this beautifully mirrors what happens inside of us. When we finally remove deception from our own hearts, peace just naturally returns. Our relationships become pure, our devotion deepens, and our fear, well, it simply disappears. Ancient sages have actually spent centuries explaining the specific warnings hidden in this story. On one hand, the demon represents the spiritual hypocrite, someone who pretends to have devotion and is always seeking praise. But the hidden reality is that beneath that whole good person exterior, their ego is quietly growing, and these selfish motives are the ones really pulling the strings. It's a pretty stark warning about prioritizing your image over your actual truth. Because the divine sees way beyond our external appearances right into the very core of our hearts. We really can't fake our way through life. True bhakti, which is true devotion, requires absolute honesty, deep humility, inner purity, and genuine surrender. Sincerity really is the only real path forward. Because, you just can't trick the truth. Now, let's bring this ancient myth straight into our modern society. The demon Pralambasura is still very much alive today. He appears whenever manipulation hides behind a kind smile, or whenever a massive ego masquerades as enlightened spirituality. He's there when false friends seek you out just for personal gain, or whenever we prioritize our perfectly curated social media image over what's actually true. So the big question is, how do we actually protect ourselves? Well, the myth gives us actionable steps for our own spiritual path. We have to practice sincere devotion, commit to truthful living every single day, actively cultivate humility, and constantly maintain our inner honesty. Just like Balarama remembering his true nature, divine consciousness and inner clarity are always going to destroy hidden deception. And that brings us to the end of our explainer. But before we go, I want to leave you with a really powerful thought to chew on. Where does the demon of hidden deception hide in your own life? Are there areas where you're maybe prioritizing the mask over the reality? Take a page from this ancient Leela. Drop the disguise, remember your true strength, and let honesty bring peace back to your forest. Thanks for joining me today.